Hey everybody, welcome to Best Family Homestead. So we've been working on this front porch, exposing these old logs. So a little bit ago, we started pulling behind these boards, thinking that the logs would be here, just like they were on the other side. But I think at some point in the past, when they put the windows, doors in, reconfigured, these logs got sawn out. But you can see this log still goes all the way across, and I can feel in here, I can feel the other log. And me and Robert were doing some exploring inside, kind of following everything. I'm pretty sure that the logs are still under here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, fingers crossed, pull these boards off, expose these logs so that we can chink everything all at the same time. And also because I am trying to, somewhat modernize this house. If you look, right here you've got just thin boards, nothing, thin boards. So you can light a candle or like a little piece of newspaper in here at any given point inside the house and watch the smoke, go back and forth because it is drafty. So I want to start, where there are not logs, start putting insulation in and make it a little bit easier to heat and cool down here in the summer. So we've got a lot more to do and a lot more interesting stuff to find. Let's see what we can discover.
All right, so you guys pause this video right quick and write down in the comments if you think there's going to be logs back here or not.
Yeah.
We don't know. This is either going to be really exciting or really disappointing for Aaron and me because I want to see the logs too in just a minute. So
I'm not sure. It feels like there's a log there.
we're about to find out. I think there's logs back
If there's not, I need to save these. Find a hammer for me.
Yeah, hammer.
Well, at least we've got all the same wood off the roof, so if I need to cut some more, won't be a problem.
What do you see?
I need a flathead screwdriver, but my wife has been wanting to replace this light for a while. Might as well just go ahead and bend it up a little bit so I get to replace it. I think it's a log.
Bug me a lot. A big reveal happening right now.
Oh, yep. There we go.
It's a log.
Yes. Yeah, I was looking at this. Oh, sorry. That's called getting rid of your competition. I was looking at it. I just
wait. That was vengeance for the smokehouse, wasn't it?
The smokehouse and dragging me underneath the house and
that's things. Fair. Yeah. All right.
I just couldn't see how there would not be logs here because this being the corner of the house, if this wasn't there, it wouldn't be able to stand.
Right.
I was a little bit disappointed these logs weren't there, but I'm really glad that so far it looks like we're in luck here.
I'm just gonna. Oh, that's a log. 100% confirmed right there.
And look where.
I ain't trying to figure that out.
I am. This makes a lot more sense actually. Judging on the history of the old house.
Yeah.
So apparently there was a fire sometime around the turn of the century. This old house is confusing as crap. If you're trying to figure out the history, there's not a obviously a good written history, except for really kind of the initial when it was built.
Yeah, as far as changes go, that's what I said. I wasn't trying to figure it out because I just gave myself a migraine trying to figure out some things in Aaron's house.
Let's see, look right here. So you see, well, no, okay, no, now that makes sense. So that is the end of the original log cabin, and you know where this wall is right here?
Yeah.
There was supposedly a fire somewhere inside the house, so this is just where that wall and inside the dining room is. So these are the original logs. Now this is cool.
Yeah.
Look right here. So they put a wall in. It's not a load bearing wall. They just wanted to add, when they added that door.
Oh,
they added a hallway.
Yeah.
So they put, you know, they didn't have log and lag bolts and stuff like we have now.
Yeah.
So they built the wall frame inside, drilled holes, probably with a hand drill, and then hammered rods or hammered dowels through it.
Yeah.
So this is why it's supporting the inside wall.
Gotcha.
For what is now the living room. And you can see where it, like up there, maybe they when they did it, probably maybe about the same time as the porch. Well, no, these probably look just like that, but when they put these originally, but then they want to put these boards up, so they cut those thin.
Yeah. Got it.
So much makes more sense now.
Let's keep
I'm like a kid in a candy shop, man. I was hoping so much to have more logs up here. Because I'm not going to lie, when I pulled that board and there wasn't a log, I was a little bit bummed. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I was wrong. There they are. And so I'd say this probably is where the original door was. Just looking at the difference in the log size from here to here.
Yeah.
So probably, they ran the log over, had the frame. I doubt this window was here originally.
No,
that's why there's nothing here. So they cut out, obviously not for a new window, but at some point put a window in there. And
you want some 194-year-old pine bark?
You know how much 194-year-old barn bark I have right here?
Over here.
All right, and leading. All right, Robert. So I want to go in a little bit right here about what you were talking about in the last video we did.
Yeah.
Before I take your face off with a board, in the last video when we were taking the ceiling off, you were talking about the time differences between the cut nails and the round nails.
Yep.
If you'll just go back over, well, no, those are still cut nails, but they're different cut nails. Look at those cut nails. These are still cut, but they have a much round. They're a little bit different. See how much
yeah, they are different.
newer they are?
Well, you've definitely got a timeline change here, and this is that's interesting.
I still don't think that. Yeah, I still think that puts that well before 1900.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little bit better machine nails instead of just the square cut nails to the round head cut nails.
These cut nails here look like,
much newer, much newer than a lot of
or a blacksmith shop up the street. These do change a little bit. And so with your cut nails, you can kind of date a structure, whether it has square nails or round nails. It's a rough estimate, but it gives you a starting point because round nails were invented in 1880. Before that, it was square nails. Round nails were much cheaper to produce. Wire nails, as they're called. So the technology was invented in 1880. So around that time period is when you start seeing round nails. So you still got differences between when people actually got a hold to the round nails. It gives you a starting point.
Right. You can definitely. It is fun to see the. I mean, it's not even. You don't even have to guess at it. The timeline difference in the building.
If you see, one thing you can say for certain is when you start seeing round nails, you can definitely say, okay, this was post 1880,
right?
Versus trying to say, okay, exactly when they stopped doing the square nails.
I'm glad, because I was worried about this little section, having to be really careful pulling stuff off, there were no logs. But I got logs, and man, I couldn't even imagine covering these logs back up. They were covered up 130 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably around 1880, 1890. And for those of you who don't know, log cabins obviously were what people built because logs were easy and cheap. Well, around after the Civil War, a log cabin started to become a sign of being poor. Sawmills came about, and people wanted, houses built out of dimensional lumber. So a log cabin would have been a sign of, being a poor farmer.
So some of you might think it's kind of gross to go through a rat's nest, but rat's nests are kind of interesting because you can find old newspapers and that sort of thing, anything that rats would take into nesting areas. This, on the other hand, is plastic and board.
But so why this house would have been covered up, and I'm still not sure on the timeline of when these boards were put up on this original log cabin. And the reason I say I'm not sure is because there's no evidence of this house ever being chinked. Like, I haven't found any mud. Have you?
No.
Which means that these boards could have been put up very shortly after the house was built. But again, a log cabin would have been something someone that didn't have much money would have.
Yeah.
Something cut on a sawmill or dimensional lumber would have been a wealthier person. So they might have built a log cabin and then made it,
There's a couple things, because I talked to local historian Dan Aiken about this, and he agrees that this cabin was these logs were probably not exposed for long. They're probably covered up pretty quick because we don't have any evidence of chinking in here. It could have been something like what we've got in the kitchen there, where they had cut some wood to fill in here.
Yeah, that is true.
Or alternatively, it could have just been open on the outside and they just put these inside walls up.
Well, now what were you saying about, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Dan about it, but he was telling you the story about the county historian before him talking about the creek looking through the logs.
Yes, so by the time this is the oldest house that is still remaining that was built by European settlers in this part of Georgia. This part of Georgia was founded in 1826. So that's around when this house dates to. When this house was built, there were still Creek people that were living here. The treaty was signed and they were moving over to Alabama, but they were not all gone when this house was built. Also, in this part, I've heard that the Creek were also building log cabins at this time because
the Cherokee did the same thing around the same time. Even before the first European settlers came, the Cherokee Indians were already building log cabins as well.
So, and a lot of the Creek that were in this area had been westernized. A lot of them were farming and doing that sort of thing. So, anyway, when this house was first built, there was a story that was told by a fellow that was considered a local historian, and he said that when the first log cabin was built in Harris County, which we're standing in it, that at night you would see the Creek people looking through the cracks in the logs at the people that were inside, or the people that were inside of the cabin could see the Creek people looking through the cracks in the logs at them inside there. So it's just an interesting.
And it definitely lends a lot to it when you see how.
Yes.
When you see the dovetails, you see how much space was from here to here. I mean, you can just imagine some, indigenous people, like, what are these stupid European people doing? Sitting here looking into huge cracks.
Yeah.
Trying to, see something that had. They never experienced it. They'd never seen anything like that before. So, I tell you what, I know. I seem like a little kid right now. Robert's laughing at me. I see him laughing off to the side there.
I was like, well, Aaron doesn't want my help anymore. He wants to pull all of this off himself.
I was so bummed out when I pulled in between that door and that window and there wasn't a log, because in my head I thought I had it all wrong. But I knew where the original log cabin went to. I just couldn't see how it could have been gone. You reckon any of that is? You reckon there's any history from a rack from 1829 in there?
Well, this pecan shell does have the possibility of being that old.
Glass.
Oh, this one's it.
All right, stay tuned for another interesting surprise.
Yeah.
I gotta see if there's another log under here.
Yep.
That goes all the way, which there's probably not, which means I'm going to more than likely have to trim a board here.
Yeah.
In order not to lose anything. So, and I know that is live. So, more fun wiring to do. Let's see what's going on. But hey, I tell you, I'm stoked. Especially it wasn't on that part. That is so cool. Even once I get it chinked, you know, just being able to have the history and how they connected these you know, two structures together. That is so cool.
Yes, it is. This is really cool. I'm looking for. I needed someone to leave a coin sitting on one of these logs when they closed up this.
He's trying to steal the coin from my house that's somewhere around here.
I know. There's a coin somewhere out here.
You know there's got to be. That's going to be awesome. Well, I'll tell you, this turned out a lot better. From when we first started, well, I'm like, hurry, my wife's going to be home in a couple hours. Let's get started.
Right.
How it's turned out the past.
My plan was to leave.
He tried. He was on his way out, but she pulled up early.
Yeah.
But I'm tickled to death. Like I'm loving the history of this old house. Loving how well. I mean, that is right at 200 years old. Yeah, folks. I mean, it's unbelievable.
How old would this tree have been when it was cut? Is a good question.
Actually, believe it or not, these were long leaf. So 9-inch. So these weren't massive, huge logs that this main part was built out of. This one probably would have been around 100 years old. But that's some of the bigger ones maybe 150 because long leaf grows really slow. That's why they last so long.
Yeah.
But still, you figure any of these.
Yeah, long leaf is a real slow growing tree. They're
like probably this tree, you know, was a seedling sometime around 1690, 1700.
Yeah, I mean, just think about that for a minute. You know, when you're looking at this tree was cut down and turned into a log somewhere around 1826. But this tree, if it's 100, it's 1726.
Yeah, I mean,
is when this started. So I mean, how cool is that? I mean, this is an old tree. You know, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm tickled to death to get all this chinked up, insulated, and sealed up, and make it preserve the history and make it look better than it. Probably better than the people that originally built it. They probably never intended it to be. When they built it, they probably weren't like, oh, this is going to be a showpiece someday for someone. Yeah. You know, they were like, oh, we need a place to live or we're going to die.
Yeah, exactly.
So to be able to take someone's extreme hard work and turn it into something that is special and preserve it for generations down the road, man, that's what it's all about. That's why me and you do what we do.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and you nailed it right there. This was no easy labor being, you know, an early settler here. Seaborn Watley. We need to go visit his grave too. Seaborn Watley building this house, being one of the first settlers there.
Awesome.
Cool.
I'm tickled to death. I didn't even have to leave all my logs on this side. And yes, I've already double checked and made sure all this power is turned off. And this is going to be part of my kind of how-to wiring instruction for dealing with wiring on an old house. As you definitely want to be safe. Can you get behind that?
Sure enough can, sir. Be my pleasure. There it is. There we have. I was about to ask if you thought that maybe they picked it back up there. No such luck.
No, I might stick something on in there. I don't want to. I'm already going to replace this one. It's broke.
No logs. Well, at least they left this nice big one at the bottom here, which I guess they kind of had to. See, supporting,
Yeah.
or supported right there. So I guess that was definitely a load bearing thing going on there. And they notched it out for the window. Look cool. That'll be cool, man. You can just do something creative to fill in that.
I'll figure something out. And maybe do a design on my computer-aided drafting program.
Yeah.
Cut something decorative right there.
Yeah.
That'd be some metal scroll or lattice work.
Oh yeah.
And insulate, and then maybe some wood with the metal behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
Powder coat it. That might look pretty cool.
That would.
Would not be period correct, but it'd look cool.
Yeah.
Figure out something.
Now also give you space where you can put your porch light, move it over here, where it's not just attached to a log like that right there.
Right, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Definitely got to work on that. Maybe put an extra light or two because it's pretty dark out here at night. It's awesome, and I have definitely created so much work for myself.
So much work. This was the fun part.
This was the fun part. It's always fun seeing history come out.
Yes, it is.
Then exposing history is not hard. Preserving history.
Yep. That's where it gets interesting. And on the next video from the Best Family Homestead, you'll hear Aaron saying, "Why did I expose all these logs?"
You'll hear Robert saying, "Why did I help Aaron expose all these logs?" Alright guys, well hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Make sure to check out Robert's channel, Watch Step 2. We got a lot of interesting, very awesome stuff coming up at the old bird farm. Kind of a lot of it along the lines of what we're doing right now. Preserving and making new history. So make sure and check his channel out too. And I'll see you guys here in the next couple of days, because we are going to be starting to insulate and re-chink all of this, and then we got to get it sealed, make it look like new, and maybe keep it from being quite so cold in the old house.
I did discover a log in Robert's back from looking for his glove.
Alright, so I found a log. Robert's back
Actually does go all the way across, so that's pretty cool. So I missed it. I missed Aaron's excitement in seeing it because I was looking for my gloves, and I found them. I left them inside of the house, and so this is why you never leave gloves, especially tasty leather gloves, around a rescue dog.
Oh, monster! Monster, my monster.
Hold on.
My monster.
I didn't see the rest of it, so
No, you won't.
Just FYI.
That's alright. Monster. Montelius. Monster. Did you do that? Monty. Monty.
They sit down for it.
Oh, yeah.
No, I can't give it back
Did you
to you.
do that? All right, so this knucklehead, you can see he scraps all the time. He got a hold of a, I think it's a possum or a raccoon. He's always scarred up. He's about 6 years old. He's my dog. The rest of everybody in the family says, oh, he's just a turd monkey. He is a turd. I mean, he's just, there's no way to say it, but he's an asshole. I found him in a dumpster at a gas station when he was about 5 weeks old, and had to bottle feed him for a couple weeks. He was that young, and he is my dog, no one else's dog. He will not listen to anyone but me. And when I'm out, like say at the bird farm and I'm not here with him a lot, he gets cantankerous. He loves leather. He's eating my wallet. He's eating, should have worn him. Yeah, leather or anything that's not mine. I don't know what you got hold of. There was a big dead possum out in the yard, but he's a little turd. Monty. Sit. Monster. Monster. Come here. No. Sit. Sit. Why are you such a turd monkey, huh? Why'd you eat the glove? Well, lesson learned. No leather left inside around any of these turd monkeys.